This quarterly meeting, we are pleased to announce 4 new members to our board of directors. I would like to request Mr. President to come up and lead the oath ceremony and the signing of the Declaration of One Nation board members. As Mr. President is coming up, I will also request Muhammad Usman, Amanat Ali Gutta, Chaudhry Muhammad Riaz Dogar, and Kashif Hussain to come along with Major Raja Tahir Jameel.
I
do solemnly swear that I am a Muslim and believe in unity and oneness of Almighty Allah. The books of Allah, the Holy Quran being the last of them, the prophethood of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, may peace be upon him, as the last of the prophets, and there can be no prophet after him. The day of judgment and all the requirements and teaching of Holy Quran and Sunnah, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to One Nation Us. That as a member of One Nation Us, I will implement my duties and perform my functions honestly, to the best of my ability, faithfully, in accordance with the bylaws and standards of what One Nation Us stands for, and always in the interest of the sovereignty, integrity, solidarity, well-being, of humanity.
and prosperity of humanity.
Mubarak to all.
माशाल्लाह मेरे साथ
Congratulations to all new board members. Everyone here just witnessed One Nation growing. With 4 new board members today, 10 tomorrow, 100 next year, we could only take One Nation beyond everyone's expectations. The next topic on our agenda is our very own hospital project. To help us understand our hospital project, I would like to bring up our co-treasurer, who currently is an insurance agent and broker with Farmers Insurance. His diverse 11 years of work experience includes working for 3 of the top A-rated insurance carriers in the U.S., working for 2 major banks in America. His friendly nature as a team player and proactive behavior has given him the title of Commando within One Nation. Please help me call upon Usman Khalid.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Usman Khalid. As the treasurer of One Nation, I've been given this great task to present before you one of the most phenomenal projects that One Nation has been working on. It's called the hospital project. Before we get into the details of the hospital project, I want to let you know why we brought up this project and why we thought the need existed for this project. As we looked around, there was nobody out there helping our community in a time when they need us the most. There was nobody, not a single organization. As somebody who could not make it with us tonight, was thinking for years to put this project into play. And One Nation stepped up, and we have finalized this project. Before I begin on the details, did you know that Maimonides Hospital boasts and is so happy at the fact that 30% of the people that it sees are Muslim?
Wow.
To put it into perspective, only 20% of the people that they see are Jewish. That's 1 out of 5. Yet no one is helping that 1 out of 3 until now. One Nation has began the hospital project, and it has 6 small projects within it. The first project is called Services at Birth, Azan at Birth. We're going to start with the circle of life. When someone is born, it is a joyous occasion, alhamdulillah. Family members are coming, phone calls are being made, people are just so happy. Names are being decided, but at that precise moment, God gives you a responsibility. You have to invite your child into Islam by saying the Azan and the Iqamah into the ears of the child. Did you know how many people come up to the hospital staff and ask them, we don't know what to do next. We have no idea. Do you have anybody who can help us? And guess what? What great answer to get every single time? No. Nobody. This is where One Nation will come in. If families are needing services at the birth of a child, we'll come on in, we'll say the Azan and the Iqamah into the ears of the child, or we'll teach it to the father, and he can do it himself. The next project within the hospital project is translation services. When people go to the hospital, unfortunately, in the community, many of them cannot speak English. And if they can speak English, they don't know the medical terminology. So A, you're in the hospital and you're sick, and B, you don't know what to tell the nurse or the physician how to take care of you. That is not acceptable. That's where One Nation Us will come on in. We will provide translation services in 5 languages: Urdu, Hindi, Arabic, Bengali, and Farsi. We will be there. We will be there or on the phone, whatever is needed. The next project in the hospital project is prayer for the sick. When the person is sick, they are completely depressed. They're completely sad. At that time, the only hope and mercy that they look at is the grace of Allah, is the grace of God. Do you know how many hospital patients and how many family members approach the admin, the hospital admin, or the nurses and ask them, do you have anybody who can pray for our sick? Do you have an imam? And guess what? The same dreaded answer. No. This is where One Nation will come on in. If someone is sick, brothers and sisters who have been trained in service, approved by the scholars of our areas, will go on in, pray for the sick. Just imagine, when you're there and the person is sick and you're coming on in and helping them out. Let me just share a small story with you on that end. A few weeks back, unfortunately, a 14-year-old Bengali child was ran over by a car. It was a very upsetting result because unfortunately the child did lose his life. But One Nation Us, I'm proud to say, we were there, we were with the family, and I saw the father could barely walk, the mother was banging her head against the wall, and at that time One Nation was there helping out with the hospital staff, helping out with the doctors, and praying for the family. The next project on the hospital project is food for the sick and food for the family members. As you know, in the hospital, patients given food, but the family members are not. You go on into the hospital to give support and show support to the people who are in the hospital who are depressed, and then you have to leave the bedside and drive miles and miles looking for halal food. That's not acceptable. Of course not. That's where One Nation will come on in. We'll provide halal food for the patient, for the family, and anybody else who may need it. The next project in the hospital project is very dear to me. The services at that. It's not only services at that, it's also services before that. And when you know someone's about to pass away. A few days ago, somebody who could not be here with us tonight, and Victor Sam got a call from the hospital that a Pakistani patient was declared brain dead. And his young daughter was at the hospital by the bedside alone, and she had no idea what to do. Victor Sam, how did it feel when you went on in? You described every single thing to the young girl, explained to her the exact process, and when you left, how good did it feel when the hospital staff came up to you and thanked you? And they're like, we did not know what to do. We had no idea. We didn't know what we were going to do next. This is where One Nation Us came in already. When somebody passes away, unfortunately, it's a very upsetting situation. People are crying. People don't know what to do. Even if they do know what to do, they're not in the mental state to be able to make decisions. The first thing the hospital does when somebody passes away is they have to wrap the body. And by state law, in order to wrap the body, the nurses come on in, they cross their hands, they cross the legs, and they wrap the body, which, as you know, is completely against Sharia. This is where One Nation Us will come on in. When somebody passes away, the hospital staff will call us, we'll go on in there, we'll wrap the body, and we'll prep it for the funeral home. And if they need help, as far as the other services, we will help them out too. It just happened a few days ago, unfortunately. An 8-month-old child, Pakistani girl, she passed away in the hospital. The mother was in shock for 6 hours. She didn't understand that the child had passed away, even though we told her. The father could not be located for 6 hours. We cried and we cried and we tried to call him. He could not be located. Finally, he called one of the members of One Nation. We got the father over there. We explained the situation. Unfortunately, it was a very upsetting event, of course. And then we did help him out with the funeral. Last but not least, on the hospital project is the medical liaison. In the state of New York, if somebody dies of a suspicious death, the ME's office comes in. And more than often, the ME's office, the medical examiner's office, wants to do an autopsy. As you know, that is completely against Islam. We like to take care of our dead. We bathe them, we clothe them, we put perfume on them, and we put them into the grave nice and quietly so that Akhirah can be very good and peaceful. And the MD office wants to come on in and take organs out and try to figure out what the cause of death is. We don't want that. In the state of New York, you can legally deny an autopsy. And that's where the medical liaison will come in. When the medical examiner's office gives a number to the body, we will call the medical examiner, tell them that's our brother and sister, don't touch them, the funeral home's on the way, release the body, and let it go. Again, like I said, we have already started this hospital project unofficially. And we have spoken with the hospital staff. And we've spoken with the vice president, and he is ecstatic. He is so happy to get this project started. And we are One Nation are going to be a pioneer of this project. We're going to spread it hospital to hospital, city to city, state to state, until every single Muslim within the United States is helped out. Thank you very much.
Today was our first official announcement of the hospital project. And while it is still in the beginning stages, many brothers and sisters have already started implementing it into their daily routines. The next person I would like to bring up is a highly educated individual, holding a PhD in social development from the Philippines, and a double master's degree in business administration and English literature from Pakistan. He has worked for UN humanitarian sector for more than a decade in Pakistan. One thing so dear to his heart, he has been a student of the renowned theologian of modern times, Dr. Charles Amjad Ali. His expertise as a radio producer and broadcaster for Radio Veritas Asia and Radio Pakistan will be showcased tonight. He is known as the most humble individual within One Nation. To share his thoughts with us tonight, let's bring up our board member, Mr. Farooq Anwar.
The topic that has been given to me is interfaith harmony and tolerance. Ladies and gentlemen, this topic has taken the center stage all over the world because of so much of intolerance, so much of persecution, and so much of discrimination and disturbance. It has basically eliminated peace from all of us. These things that are so dear to our hearts, and yet we need to open up our hearts to embrace some other things in our life too. I was 10 years old when I left my house. Have never gone back there. Deprived I feel at times, but blessed I feel too, because I met some wonderful people like all of you. You became my extended family. You mentored me, you guys groomed me, and this is who I am today. Well, thank you so much. I consider myself to be so blessed and so fortunate. And then, it has been like 30 years and odd that I have been out of my house, and I sometimes begin and reminisce. Who were my classmates? Who were my hostel mates? Who were my companions? And when I grew big, I settled in my own house. Who were my neighbors? Which shops did I go to? Where did I do my grocery? Where did I buy my clothes from? Ladies and gentlemen, I stayed in Pakistan till 2012. They were all my Muslim brothers and sisters. I never felt, as a Christian, I never felt discriminated or marginalized. Never did I, because I got around in the company of true human beings, and I was blessed to get the best out of them. Brothers and sisters, our difference of faith never became an obstacle or hindrance for us to care for each other, love each other, although we went to different places of worship on Friday and Sunday, because we never got ourselves into discriminated boxes. We never looked at each other with the spectacles of religion, but humanity. But my heart bleeds. My heart bleeds when I see people being persecuted in the name of religion, ethnicity, caste, color, creed. I feel the same for my Palestinian brothers and sisters, for my Muslim brothers and sisters in Myanmar, in Indian Gujarat, and for all the wonderful Christians being persecuted on the streets of Pakistan. I feel equally the same pain for each and every human being who is being targeted, persecuted on the basis of religion. Do you know, scientists are busy these days putting their heads together, working on the modalities and devising strategies how to increase the crop growth, because the serious depletion of food by 2020 is expected in the world. Why are we looking into it? Because we want to save lives. We want to put food in the stomach of people so they will survive. Engineers and scientists are working on the jet planes, making them faster and quicker, bigger and safer. Why? Because we want to keep the lives of people safe. But why are we not working towards eradicating hatred in our hearts? Why are we not working? Because this is so important. We need to eradicate hatred that we have towards each other, just on the basis of very minute differences that we have in our hearts and in our minds. Why is it important to love someone who is from my family, from my caste, from my ethnicity, and from my religion? Is it not enough, a good reason for me to love you because we have the same parents, Adam and Eve? Is it not important and enough for me to love you because we are the creation of the same Creator? Is it a problem? Is it a problem for me to accept you the way you are? Why is it that we want to convert a normal human being into a statue of wax? Because that is how I want to see you? That is how I want you to behave? This is absolutely mind-boggling. Ladies and gentlemen, that is why interfaith dialogue has taken the center stage in the world. That is why people have started talking about it. I feel ashamed. I really do. I don't feel proud when people tell me, We have conquered the space. We have conquered the depths of the ocean. But I tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen, we have miserably failed. We have failed to conquer the hearts and minds of human beings. We have failed to conquer the souls and minds and love. We have failed to sow the seed of love and forgiveness. My brothers and sisters, we all have imperfections. Nobody is perfect. Perfection only goes with Allah. We are so proud of our worldly treasures and we forget about the eternal rewards in life. As weak as we are, we keep on challenging and pursuing God for small little things in life, isn't it? I was coming with my friend Jawad, and he was driving me to this place. And while we were coming to the traffic signal, he started driving faster. I said, why? He said, I want to cross before the light becomes red. So we keep on deserting God for small little things. Allah, you know, I sometimes wonder, why don't we ask God and pursue God for bigger things? There are bigger things in life. We believe in a big God. We don't believe in a small God. We don't ask God, but, ladies and gentlemen, why don't we approach Allah? Allah, please give me the wisdom and strength to help others, to love others with their imperfections and differences. Allah, please tame my tongue and mouth so I will not hurt anyone with my words and actions. Why not we pray, Allah, please give me the strength to protect the humble and the meek from the arrogant and powerful. Allah, please protect me from hypocrisy. How can I approach Allah with having hatred for somebody in my heart? My brothers and sisters, just think about it. How do I expect Allah to accept my prayer when I do not have love for my other fellow being, for the other human being? Heck, how can I expect Allah to accept my sajda when I have ill feelings for my brother and for my sister? Ladies and gentlemen, I wish we would start pursuing Allah for good and big things that we want to do in our lives in this world and stop challenging the bigness of God for our small, selfish and silly wishes in life. Brothers and sisters, if eradicating poverty and illiteracy is imperative in this world, I believe restoring human dignity, right to live, establishing peace and security for each other in our society is paramount. We need to get into the depth and meaning of the messages that the prophets have brought to mankind. I think we need to understand and interpret the messages the way they are, rather than distort them for my own personal advantage. A message of hatred does not exist in any religion. I, being a student of comparative study of Christianity and Islam, I tell you, you dig into the Holy Quran and you will find so much of love and forgiveness. The first Magna Carta in the history of mankind, we all know, that was Misaki Medina, when the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, gives a pledge to protect the minorities, the Jews and the Christians. I want you to be reminded of the Najrani Christians who were given a space to pray in the Holy Mosque on a Sunday. These are the wonderful lessons that the Prophet has given to all of us. Those messages for mankind, not for any particular person or group of people. Ladies and gentlemen, instead of interpreting and distorting all those messages, let us start looking at the commonalities that we share. Let us look at the commonalities that we hold in each other's religion. Let's talk about peace and harmony rather than disharmonize and create chaos within chaos. Let us stop behaving like little gods, because we are not. Allah is only one. We cannot be. Let's not start behaving like little gods. I will not forgive. I will not do this. I have seen people. Just a while ago, around 4 o'clock, I went for somebody's janaza, and I was really saddened. I said, well, this is the end of a human being. We talk so big, but this is the end. That's how we are going. Empty hand. All the arrogance is going to die down with you. But if you have won the hearts and minds of people with love and forgiveness, we know what is the reward for us out there. And this is how I will come to the end of my little piece of speech. But there are 2 things that I want to share with you. People, those who think differently, they excel. And now that I would like to showcase my radio skills, फकीर शहर बोला बादशाह से, बड़ा संगीन मुजरिम है ये आका, इसे मसलूब करना ही पड़ेगा, कि इसकी सोच हमसे मुख्तलिफ है. And one that really touches my heart and my soul, it says, फरिश्ता मुझे कहने से मेरी तहकीर होती है. फरिश्ता मुझे कहने से मेरी तहकीर होती है. मैं मस्जूद मलाइक हूँ. मुझे इंसान रहने दो. Thank you.
Today, I'd like to admit that I have bullied this boy around in his childhood. Made him do many of my projects and essays for school. Played countless hours of basketball and have been roommates together. See each other day and night. Let's bring up one of the other youngest member of One Nation, my cousin, Yara Yunus.
My name is Yara Yunus. I'm currently a medical student. And I got started with One Nation a few months back when I was invited to one of our first meetings that was actually held in my house. Also, what I was responsible for was the website project, and a lot of members were involved with me. What our team focused on for the last few weeks. When we started the website project, we spent hours researching the top 40 non-profit websites. All these websites provided a clear and direct approach in attracting people to the organization. After going into extensive details of each website, we started to realize there was a pattern for all these nonprofit websites. They made it very easy for all people to understand their message. So we came to a theory that there are 3 things that are very important for a nonprofit website. The first thing is conveying your message. The second thing is telling people like us to join us in our cause. And the third thing is for asking for funds and asking for people's help. All 3 things go hand in hand. One thing cannot work without the other. So you cannot have a nonprofit organization website that just asks people for their money. You just can't have a website that only conveys your message. And you cannot just have a website that asks people to follow you blindly. It's important that all these 3 principles cannot be done without the other. We can't, all 3 things have to be treated clearly and openly. When someone decides to go on your website, it has to take them 30 to 60 seconds to understand what One Nation is. There are many functionalities throughout the website that provide features well suited for a nonprofit website. One very important function is our Reach Out to Us application. When someone has a problem, they fill out their basic bio and they put in a detailed paragraph telling you what kind of problem they have, whether it's for our funeral program, whether it's for our outreach program, or whether it's our hospital project. Someone from our members will go over the application and then they'll get back to you within hours. one of our another feature is our newsletter. It's important to provide all members and people involved with One Nation US an extensive report on what we've been up to. It's important to make sure that all information about One Nation is on the website. So all our core members' bios, all our upcoming events, all our current projects will be accessible on the website. The website will also provide access to all social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. All our videos of our venues will be available on these websites. And all the domain names and usernames of One Nation US have been locked down to One Nation US. Currently, we're drawing out the full blueprint of the website with all the information and format of the website. We are working on the logo and design with the website designer. I'd like to thank all the members that helped out in this project, and inshallah, with everyone's approval and blessing, the website will be up, inshallah, by the end of the year.
It's not easy to speak up here, but he is our youngest member and is growing well. One Nation else is growing as well. Do you guys know something? Anyone? Not yet?
Food.
I saw Kuala. We're halfway there. Just saying. The next matter we will be getting into is NYPD auxiliary and CPR introduction. The brother that I'm about to bring up is an auxiliary officer, police officer, for 10 years and in the process of being promoted to auxiliary sergeant. He is also part of the Brooklyn South disaster planning team with American Red Cross and a captain instructor for Muslims for Life CPR mobile team. He is on the FEMA First Respond Team trained by Homeland Security and Federal Emergency Management Agency for 8 years. Not only that, he is a volunteer with the Janaza Project and an event coordinator with Muslims Giving Back. A project engineer by profession for over 12 years. He is all about giving back to the community. Please join me in welcoming our newest member of the board of directors, Brother Kashif Hussain.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. For a second, I thought I got too much on introducing me. Honorable guests and my One Nation brothers and sisters. Tonight, I've been given a task to shed light on two topics, which many people tend to take lightly and often underestimate. One topic is life-threatening, while the other holds a high percentage of saving your life. I'll start by speaking about the topic which could save your life and mine. Cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Okay, the easier term is CPR. How many times have we heard stories after stories that the person was just fine seconds before they died? Or a person was asleep and they never woke up the next morning? In our community, this negligence of picking signs of life and death is at alarming rate. If you do see someone, or even your loved ones, our community is extremely unprepared to deal with life-threatening situations. Folks, this is unacceptable. Among many responsibilities One Nation US has, one is to train everyone from child to elderly in CPR, AED, and first aid through Muslims for Life CPR program. So if Allah forbid, situations do arise, one is ready, prepared, and avoid panicking. This is a life-saving tool we should all know, like we know our first and last name. Now, Brother Usman mentioned that about the sad passing of our 8-month-old daughter. Yes, that's right, you heard our daughter. Every baby child, adult, and elderly is us, making us one nation. That 8-month-old infant, as provided on our vomit, could you imagine your son or daughter choking to death and you have no clue what to do? The mother couldn't perform the life-saving CPR, and as we all find out, it was too late for the medical professionals to save her by the time she arrived at the hospital. The critical time window has elapsed. There shouldn't be any exceptions or excuses not to learn CPR program. Now, I proudly say that all One Nation officers and all the board of directors are now certified. And they're ready to respond to life-threatening situations anywhere at any time. Alhamdulillah. Please take a look at Muslims for Life CPR program and One Nation position holders and their families and the community being trained, inshallah, in the presentation that I was deciding to do now, but I will do it at the end. Now on the other topic, which holds face as being life-threatening, the New York Police Department Auxiliary Program. The NYPD Auxiliary Program is a volunteer police officer program. The NYPD trains civilians so they can become eyes and ears of the department. This program is designed to deter crimes in the neighborhoods while increasing uniformed personnel to schools, house of worship like masajids, churches, synagogues, temples, local businesses, train and bus stations, parks, and residential areas. In addition, auxiliary police officers play a crucial role during festivals, parades, melas, the religious holidays like Ramadan, when there's a parking spots and parking violation tickets are involved. Because everybody, keeping one eye outside the masjid and saying, "Oh, yaar deer lagi hai." There are many in our communities, especially immigrants, who don't speak English. As you know from other programs, they don't do well. In these situations, NYPD auxiliaries, which represents the community it patrols, come in very handy. We, the One Nation, urge you and the youth to join this program so they can achieve the necessary leadership skills along with building their confidence. The college students will receive 3 work-study credits, and if needed, NYPD will issue the letter of recommendation for job placements and internships. It will also teach the youth the responsibilities of the community at an early stage, keeping them away from problematic and criminal situations. I've been in a program for 10 years, as Brother Yasser said, and if this program didn't give me the positive outlook and outcome, trust me, I would have left a long time ago. But I see the value of being in this program, helping out our own community. Obviously, if you ever pulled over, because we all make mistakes, if you get pulled over, you will be respected and given a courtesy for being a volunteer police officer. Lastly, with efforts of One Nation, we now have recruited 27 people to join the program. And here's the kicker. Out of 27, 12 of them are One Nation members. And they will be beginning their training in February of 2015, inshallah.
Nice.
Please enjoy the presentation of both the CPR and the NYPD auxiliary. Then I have a couple of lines to say. Let's begin now.
أبدا لن نحيد أبدا لن نحيد أبدا لن نحيد عن خطى الإيمان دربنا درب قويم دربنا درب قويم بالهدى القرآني أبدا لن نحيد أبدا لن نحيد أبدا لن نحيد عن خطى الإيمان دربنا درب قويم دربنا درب قويم بالهدى القرآني سائر في طريق الحق يا جند الله، سائر في طريق الحق يا جند الله، جند الله، جند الله، جند الله. عهدا علينا أسود العريق نمضي أماما أبد لا نليق، عهدا علينا أسود العريق نمضي أماما أبد لا نليق.
حتى إذا بان النفير عدنا جنودا نلبي المسير، حتى إذا بان النفير عدنا جنودا نلبي المسير.
جند الله، جند الله، أبدا لن نحيد، أبدا لن نحيد عن خطى الإيمان. دربنا درب قويم، دربنا درب قويم بالهدى القرآني، سائر في طريق الحق يا جند.
ولا بد يوما سيرجع الأقصى ليحيا الفداء بطول المدى.
لجنات ربي سار الشهيد عن دربه دوما أبد لا نحيد، لجنات ربي سار الشهيد عن دربه أبدا لن نحيد، أبدا لن نحيد عن خطى الإيمان.